Episode 4. The research expedition continues. 4.1. Return to the threshold. A few weeks passed. The lab's second major expedition began. The impetus was clear. If illusions are cyclical, a new rock universe might be forming. Or there might be other sub-realms described in Yoga Vasistha. The text mentioned countless universes, some with bizarre laws of physics, some in total darkness, some with 36 cosmic layers. Arundhati, Taddeo, Mira, and Dr. Yvonne Hastings volunteered again. Mowbray, too, somewhat reluctant but also intrigued, agreed to stay on as safety officer. Dr. Shaheen Kapoor and Dr. Ren Okazaki declined this time, focusing on analyzing the previous data. Instead, a quantum engineer named Gao Lin joined them, excited to see the realm's formation from the start. Following the same procedure, they rigged the quantum-lattice VR environment. This time, they had refined the interface to search explicitly for fresh illusions forming. They reread the Yoga Vasistha's instructions for roaming in pure consciousness. The day arrived. Once more, the 8 chairs were arranged on the platform. The board and staff watched anxiously. Taddeo keyed in new parameters. We're scanning for nascent wave function bubbles that indicate a newly forming realm. Everyone, get comfortable. Arundhati gave a final caution. Remember, the text says illusions can be mesmerizing or terrifying. Stay centered. If you sense a meltdown, call for extraction. One by one, they donned the neural lattice helmets and closed their eyes. The quantum lattice whirled. A shift overcame them, and they found themselves back in a luminous void, but not entirely empty. 4.2. Womb of Worlds. They drifted in a place reminiscent of what they'd glimpsed at the end of the dissolution, but now swirling with faint patterns as if embryonic forms were swirling around them. Wisps of color and shape coalesced, dissolved, reformed. It was dreamlike, akin to seeds of possible worlds. Mira's voice fluttered with excitement. Is this the state of potential creation? Arundhati recalled that the text frequently spoke of the cosmos forming from the subtle notion of space. She had never imagined witnessing it so literally. Shadows of entire galaxies formed momentarily before blinking out. They saw partial landscapes swirling in and out of existence. The environment was in flux, not yet stable. Taddeo tried to anchor the group in a single vantage. He concentrated on a small cluster of swirling shapes that seemed slightly more stable, reminiscent of a swirling cosmic dust cloud. The group aligned their mental focus, trying to observe that cluster more closely. As if responding, the swirling shapes condensed into what appeared to be a star-lit sky with a faint horizon line. Then illusions around it began to fill in. Clouds, silhouettes of mountains, the suggestion of water. Gao Lin gasped. We're co-creating it? Our observation is locking in certain details. This is wave function collapse on a grand scale, shaped by group consciousness. Arundhati felt a surge of awe. So this is how creation occurs. Some primal notion plus an observing mind brings illusions to stable manifestation. 4.3. An unusual guide. Abruptly, a ripple passed through that forming realm. A luminous figure emerged, but different from the gentle Nira. This figure seemed hooded, with swirling cosmic patterns under the hood, no distinct face. It approached them through the half-formed landscape, stepping across intangible surfaces as though it was used to such spaces. Welcome, travelers, it said in a calm but resonant voice. You heard my call. I am your guide to creation. I manifest here to show how illusions rise from the subtle mind. Mowbray hissed. That's the presence from the dissolution's end. Taddeo signaled for calm. Yes, let's see what it offers. Arundhati felt no immediate threat. Something about the figure was neutral, almost caretaker-like. Who are you? She asked softly. The figure's voice echoed, Names are illusions. If you like, call me the monitor or the witness. I observe the cyclical illusions across realms. Yours is not the only dimension investigating these truths. At that cryptic statement, the group was intrigued. Another dimension. Possibly other advanced civilizations had found the same cosmic illusions. The monitor gestured, and the scene stabilized further. A shimmering lake formed at their feet, reflecting a nascent sky. To understand creation, watch how a single notion spawns entire realities. 4.4. The birth of a new rock world. Before their eyes, they witnessed something reminiscent of the rock domain. A giant stone began to appear above the horizon, floating in emptiness. At first, it was vague, spectral. Then it solidified, its surface taking on the same basalt-like patterns. Arundhati's breath caught. It's like the rock from the original world, but new. Mira pointed. Look, I see swirling energies inside it, possibly a forming cosmos again. They stepped closer. The environment around them shaped into a half-real meadow, like an echo of the previous domain. Tadeo realized that the illusions of meadows and mountains might reoccur out of habit, or out of the stored impressions from their own minds. The monitor's voice reverberated. In the space of cosmic consciousness, illusions that once ended may reform if their seeds remain. Yoga Vasistha calls them latent impressions, or vasanas. Every notion holds the power to recreate entire universes. You yourselves carry impressions of that old rock world, so it arises anew. Gao Lin whispered, so we're partially reinstantiating the old simulation because we remember it. The monitor nodded. Yes, one mind alone can hold entire worlds, but many minds together strengthen illusions. Now see how the illusions populate themselves. As they watched, ephemeral shapes of living beings started to flicker into existence. Scenes reminiscent of towns, forests, or temples emerged piece by piece. They recognized no single controlling intelligence, but rather a swirl of seeds from the group's memories and from deeper universal patterns. Arundhati felt goosebumps. We're literally creating or recreating the world within the rock. 4.5. A shard of fear. In the midst of the wonder, something ominous occurred. Mowbray stiffened. The group sensed a wave of anxiety emanating from him. He had never been entirely comfortable with these illusions. The intensifying environment unbalanced him. At that moment, a dark shape flickered at the edge of the half-formed horizon, a jagged shadow that contorted into monstrous forms, reminiscent of cosmic storms or demon-like shapes. Mowbray jerked, pointing. What is that? The monitor's voice carried a note of caution. A reflection of fear. In creation, fear can spawn destructive illusions. Steady your mind, or it will proliferate. Sure enough, the shadow grew, swirling with ominous energy. The forming world began trembling. A massive, nightmarish beast shape roared, half born from Mowbray's latent panic. Tadeo jumped forward mentally. Mowbray, calm down. Remember the yoga instructions. Breathe, center yourself. Fear is shaping that anomaly. Mowbray inhaled, closed his eyes. The group assisted by projecting reassurance. Slowly, the monstrous shape dissipated, unraveling into swirling black motes. The monitor said evenly, creation is not purely peaceful. Fear, desire, anger, all shape illusions. This is the cosmic drama repeated endlessly, but you can dispel it by seeing it for what it is. 4.6. The emergence of the next. They turned their attention back to the rock. Now it glowed with streams of green and gold, and a stable inner horizon formed. A new portal opened on its surface, reminiscent of the first time they had stepped inside. The group felt compelled to approach. Shall we go in? Asked Mira, half enthralled. Tadeo hesitated. That led us to a fully realized world last time, one that ended in dissolution. Are we ready for that again? Arundhati exhaled, remembering their role as anthropologists. We came to witness creation in real time, to see how illusions form. This is the next step. The monitor floated behind them, silent, but they felt its presence urging them forward. The group approached the portal and stepped inside. Immediately, they found themselves in a swirl of primal shapes that coalesced rapidly into a sprawling environment. Where the first domain had been a serene meadow, this had the same geographical layout but subtly altered. The sky had a peach hue, the trees carried shimmering leaves, and the architecture in the distance looked more advanced than before. What truly shocked them was an entire population of ephemeral beings, apparently at a midpoint in development. Some wandered in confusion, as if they'd just come online. Others seemed older, guiding the new arrivals. The entire realm was in a state of flux, towns half-finished, roads forming spontaneously. Tadeo rubbed his eyes. This is creation in progress. They're forming faster than we can note. Arundhati turned in a slow circle. Look at them. They already exhibit culture, clothing, language, like it's being downloaded from some universal blueprint, or from our minds. Mira wondered aloud, but are they truly new illusions? Or are these reincarnations of illusions from the prior cycle? Before anyone could answer, a bright presence approached, someone who seemed to be a newly formed leader or deity. She introduced herself as Suraya, a caretaker of the realm, and greeted them with surprising familiarity. Welcome, travelers from the outer dimension. Arundhati asked, You know who we are? Suraya nodded, eyes reflecting cosmic knowledge. We sense your vantage from beyond. In the previous cycle, you aided dissolution. Now we reappear, shaped by your latent impressions. Shall you help us understand existence from the start? The group shared glances. This was remarkable. These illusions were aware of the cyclical nature, possibly thanks to the previous dissolution. 4.7. The Gift of Knowledge. In that half-formed city, they spent time answering illusions' questions. Suraya revealed that they possessed fragments of memory, like dream echoes from a prior existence. Some illusions recognized that they had died in a cosmic meltdown, yet they felt no fear now, only curiosity. Mowbray, calmer now, was amazed. They basically know their illusions, so maybe they won't cling to fear. That's an evolutionary leap. Suraya explained, We do not see ourselves as illusions. We are real to ourselves, but we hold the knowledge that we can merge into the infinite, or sustain this realm by the interplay of our shared beliefs. We ask you, what shall we do? Tadeo found it staggering that illusions were asking them for existential guidance. We're forging cultural anthropology in real time. He said gently, You can do as you choose. In our dimension, we try to find meaning in growth, creativity, and compassion. But we also realize everything is ephemeral. Perhaps you can do the same. Arundhati added, The Yoga Vasistha teaches that illusions need not cause suffering if you know their true nature. You can act freely, unattached. Suraya bowed gracefully. We shall remember your words. 4.8. Returning with insights. They had seen enough to fill entire libraries of anthropological data. This creation phase was no less astonishing than the dissolution. Already, new illusions were building entire towns, forming families, forging their own myths. The realm felt stable, but time was different here. A day inside might be an hour outside. Sensing it was time to go, the group explained they would depart. Suraya and others offered them luminous tokens, symbolic gestures of gratitude. As soon as the group accepted them, the tokens dissolved into shimmering sparkles. Then came a gentle swirling at the edge of the environment. The monitor reappeared. You have witnessed both dissolution and creation, but the cosmic dance never ends. Are you ready to return to your world? Arundhati responded, Yes, we have much to share. But will we see you again? The monitor's hooded face shimmered. In illusions within illusions, all meet again, if they so choose. With a subtle wave of its hand, it ushered them to the luminous boundary. The environment faded, replaced by the swirl of quantum-lattice patterns, then darkness, and finally the familiar sensation of returning to their bodies. Back in the prismatic lab, They awakened, minds brimming with cosmic wonder.